Hey, I recently created a service design blueprint that might be very helpful for you if you are creating or defining a new business or a new product for addressing a new opportunity. Before I jump into the topic, I would like to remind you that I have created a free giveaway for people that are starting in their roles as product managers or established product managers or even product leaders to have a workflow that is going to help them do their job. Go check it out in the description down below. And while you're getting in, please remember to like and subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content. So if you're defining a new business, you're defining a new product, you want to define it in a way that you want to make sure that you understand what is going to be the whole journey that your customers are going to go through, what are the touch points that are going to have with you, and how you are going to be able to follow those up. And you don't want to just wing this. You want to make sure that you have a plan and that you have an understanding of how this is going to work. At least you want to create some kind of a theoretical plan. And then, of course, you will see how the reality adjusts to it or not. So when defining a service design, I like to actually define more like a matrix where I have two different axes. In one of the axes, I like to define what is the journey of the customer. How far do they know me? How far do they know my product? Are they familiar with it? Have they adopted? Where are they? And in the other axis, I like to show the activities and the different touch points and the different engagements that are going to happen in each one of those stages. So when you think about the different stages of the customer journey, there are going to be essentially 5. Of course, you can extend to more, but there are going to be typically 5 stages that they are going to go through. The first one is going to be one of discovery or awareness, also known as that. And here you want to know, or the state that your customer is, that, well, that potential customer is not your customer. It's somebody that doesn't even know about you. They had to find you out. You had to make sure that you identify those people that had the problem that you are solving and how you're going to message to them. Here it's very important that you figure out a couple of things, quite many actually, but there are going to be a couple of key things here. You want to understand who your product is for really well. Where are they? Potentially locations. Which industries they work if it's in a B2B situation. And where do they usually hang out? So let's say that I'm doing a product for people that are into calisthenics. So people that are into calisthenics usually are going to be relatively young. So let's say somewhere between somebody maybe a teenager, potentially even, all the way to their 30s, sometimes their 40s, probably quite a few in that stage. But you can prove me wrong, and hopefully you are into doing exercise just with your own body, which is awesome, by the way. I like to do it. Just go check it out. Try it yourself. Anyways, let's not digress. That will be kind of part of the persona that I had to build, or that I want to tackle. And then there's the geography. Potentially there are going to be many countries, but maybe for me, if I want to tackle only countries where I understand the language, I might just concentrate on Spanish and English because those are the languages where I can be competent with. And then I had to figure out where are they? Where do they hang out? What channels, for example, do they follow in YouTube? Or what Reddit groups are they? Because that's potentially where I want to message, where I want to promote my product, whatever is the product I'm creating, and actually promote it to them and speak their language, be in the place that they're going to be. I don't want to go and talk about calisthenics in LinkedIn because probably people are not going to be talking about calisthenics in LinkedIn. So you have to figure out what's the correct channel. The next phase is going to be consideration. In this moment, people are going to have found out about you. They are confident enough in understanding your product that they might want to consider it. They might want to do a checklist. Hey, there are these different apps. They are all interesting, at least in principle. Which one would suit better my needs? That's what they do in consideration phase. The next phase will be a purchase phase. Here, you want to make sure that purchasing your product, if especially it's an app, you want to make it as simple as possible. Creating users, logging in, all these things should be crisp. Downloading it, starting using it should be really good and easy to start doing. This is part of the purchase process. It's not just the moment that you pay, it's also the moment that comes before and the moment that comes after. So that first experience with the customers, once they purchase, it has to be as good as possible because you don't want them to be frustrated in the moment that they start using your product, especially if they have purchased it. Then comes retention. Here, you are going to make sure that you are providing value over time to your existing customers. You don't want that your customers come, try your product, stay for a while, and then leave. You would like them to stay. You want to make it engaging. You want to make it interesting for them. You want to develop your product to suit their needs. And finally, the last stage of customer journey is going to be advocacy, where you are looking for your potential customers to start promoting your product. The better your product is, the more your customers are going to recommend you, are going to promote you. This is why those NPS surveys, they are asking you how likely are you to recommend your product. This is why it's very important, because that's gonna promote loyalty, that's promoting advocacy of your product. And now let's go through the other axis, the one that shows me my customers' activities and also my activities, how I respond to them, how I respond to those needs in a service design. Often this has been compared to a theater play. And here you're going to have several stages. And again, depending on how you work, you might want to define different stages. But for me, usually works with the next ones. First, recording the user actions. What are the user actions that you think that they are going to follow or they're going to perform when they are trying to, let's say, discover your product? And you will do this for each one of the stages of the customer journey when you are doing the service design. And based on those actions, what are going to be my front-end touch points that I'm going to create for them? So here, what I want to define is what are the first, the activities, the actions, the content that I'm creating that is facing the customer, what they can see. Then there's going to be the backstage. That's going to be the next level. And in the backstage is what are the supporting or the activities I'm creating in the background to support those front stage actions that I'm creating for them. And finally, you're going to have the supporting functions. And here I like to include things like what are the technology used and potentially what are the teams that are going to be involved creating this content or those activities for the customer to engage with. So let's go through a very simple example. If I have my customer activity or my customer action being that they are looking for a tool to start doing calisthenics on their own. So what they might do? They might go to Google, they might go to ChatGPT nowadays, and they might look for what are the best tools or what are the best mobile apps to do calisthenics or to start with calisthenics. Okay, that's a question. I know that there's going to be something like that people are going to ask. I can measure keywords and so on. I can look into which ones are the most popular ones. So what I will have in the front stage. So probably I'm going to create some kind of content to promote my app for people that are looking for that piece of information, for those people that want to start with calisthenics or have already been doing it for a while and want to improve it. What is going to be my backstage? Well, my backstage here is I'm going to create a campaign, let's call it like that. And in the campaign, I'm going to have different activities where I'm going to be trying to run ads in different platforms. People are not going to just use Google, they might use Bing, they might search also in Facebook or in YouTube. They might search in different locations, Reddit, for example, and I might do a campaign of information on not just creating those ads to tackle that and I might do a campaign to tackle those questions that those potential customers have or those potential prospects have at this point. As part of the backstage, I'm also going to be doing things like researching the keywords. So what are going to be the keywords that those customers are going to be searching for when they want to find my content or when I want them to find my content? They probably are not trying to find my content because they don't even know about me at that point. They don't know about that app to do calisthenics that I might have been creating in the background. And finally, there's going to be the supporting activities. What are going to be the supporting activities? Well, I might need somebody to take care of this. I might need a marketing team. I might not have it. If I don't have it, I had to create it or I had to figure out who is going to do this. Once I cover this, it's like, what are the tools that I'm going to be using? Everybody's nowadays seems to be using HubSpot, seems to be one of the most common tools out there, but there's other tools that they could be using. That's going to define then what are the supporting activities, what are the things that you had to create also in the backstage. So if you go through this, obviously this is very simplified. You can complicate it a lot if you want to define the whole flow, because then you define every single activity. Why is this important? Because once you understand these journeys, and once you understand in your service design how the actions of the users are flowing, what is the content that you are creating to answer those actions or those questions that they are posting or those activities they have, how do you see that this flow is going to go from the discovery to the consideration to the purchase to the retention and to the loyalty? Once you understand this, basically you are creating a map, a mind map of what are the different pieces of content, what is the, not just content, but what are the different activities, what is the work that you will need to do to actually plan this business, plan this product, and understand better what the user is going to need. You should not do this in isolation. Ideally, you would like to talk with some customers to understand better what are their actions. But what this is going to give you is potentially is going to give you your roadmap. It's going to give you what are the things that you need to implement, how, when, and what are then the tasks that you are going to have to develop in order to achieve this service design. By the way, there's no perfect service design. There's no perfect plan. There never is. But this helps you to understand, plan, see how this is going to flow, and how you are going to tackle the questions that these people, these users might have. But planning this service design is going to help you put yourself into the shoes of your potential customers and try to create or drive your activities based on their needs. This is really key. This is really important in order for you to be able to really manage to tackle those questions they might have, those needs they might have, those concerns they might have as the type of customer that you're trying to address. If you want to take a deeper dive into service design, please let me know in the comments below, and then I might do a very potentially long video really looking into how this could be done for a generic app into a certain space, and how this whole service design could be developed. Please let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next one. And remember, stay safe.